So hello everyone, in this video we are going to see the problem lowest common ancestor in a binary tree. So what is lowest common ancestor? First of all we will see that, and what we have to do in this problem, and what is the logic for this problem, we will look that further. So given a binary tree with all the unique values and two node values n1 and n2, the task is to find the lowest common ancestor of the two given nodes. We may assume that both the n1 and n2 are present in the tree, or none of them are present. LCA, it is the first common ancestor of both the nodes n1 and n2 from the bottom of the tree. So for this tree, that is 1, 2, 3, n1 is given to us as 2 and n2 is given to us as 3. So for 2 and 3 the common ancestor is 1, that is why we have output the value as 1. Now for this example tree 5, 2, 3, 4, we have n1 as 3 and n2 as 4. So the common ancestor for these two nodes are 2 and 5 both are the ancestors of 3 and 4, but the lowest common ancestor is 2, that is why we will return 2. So let's see the logic for this. So let's see some examples first of all. So in this given tree that we have seen in the example just now, we have 2 and 3 as the n1 and n2. So in this case we are returning the output as 1. So let's see the next one. In this case again we have n1 as 3 and n2 as 4. So we have ancestors that we have in this case are 5 and 2 both, but we have to return the lowest common ancestor. So in this case we will return 2. So the output will be 2 in this case. So again we have this example where the tree is given to us, n1 value is 3 and n2 value is 4. So we have to find the lowest common ancestors. So in this case the only one common ancestor these two have, that is 1. So in this case we will return 1. So again for this example, this is a different example. We have this tree 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the nodes that are given to us. So we have n1 and n2 values as 3 and 5. So we have to see the common ancestors. So the common ancestors for 3 and 5 will be 1, 2 and 3. But amongst these we have to return the lowest common ancestors. So the lowest common will be 3 itself. Okay. So a node can be an ancestor of itself. So just remember that, and we will return 3 in this case. So how do we apply the logic for this? So there are basically 3 things majorly that we have to check. So the first one, so what is the logic here is, first of all we will check that if for any given node, if it is returning what all the values it is returning or it is getting from the left and right child. Okay, that we will check. So let's try to traverse this tree. So for 1 it will check what it is getting from its left tree. So if it will go towards its left tree, that is 2. So it will check for 2 that what it is getting from the 2. So 2 is getting n1 from one side, and we will not take 5 because we only have to check whether a value can be a null or it can be n1 or n2, right? So just keep in mind this thing, that any node can get either a null value or it can get either a n value, we can say, right? So for 2 we can see if this is if a given child node is not a n value, then it will simply return what? Null. So this will return null in this case, but 4 is an n value, so it will return n2. So since 2 is getting an n2, so what it will do is it will simply return n2 up to the parent caller. So it will again return n2 in this case. Now the left call is done. So what the execution will go towards the right child, right subtree. So for 3 it will check it is getting a null. So for 3 basically, first of all it will check for 3 itself. When it is calling for 1 only, right? So it will get 3 only because 3 has 2 children. So from 2 child nodes 2 and 3, from 2 it is getting what? It is getting n2. From 3 it will check, it is getting 3 itself, that is n1 it is getting, because as I said, if for a given parent node, if there exists a n value, then it will return n only. So there can be cases like this. If a parent gets null and null from both the childs, so in this case what it will do, it will simply return root. Okay, let me write again. There are 3 major conditions for this logic. If a parent is getting null from the left child, and null from its right child, then it will do what it will do is it will return itself, or root it will return. Again in the next case where we will see, if it is getting n1, or we can say simply n value, if it is getting n value from the left child and null from the right child, then what it will do is it will return left. And it will, if it is getting null value from the left child and n value from the right child, then it will return what? A right. So this is the basic logic. So now let's see the code for it. The code is simple only. So the base case we have written, where if root equals to null, we have to simply return null. So this is the base case that we always write. So the next thing is, if the root data is equals to n1 or if it is equals to n2, then in that case we will return root, that we have seen. The other thing is, we will call recursively for the left subtree and the right subtree, the function will be called root of left n1 n2, root of right n1 n2. So these are the three conditions that we have seen. If left is not equals to null and right, if the value that we are getting from the left subtree is not equal to null, and if the value that we are getting from the right subtree is not equal to null, then in that case we will simply return root. Otherwise, if we are getting the value that the value that we are getting from the left subtree is not null, then in that case we will return L value, which means that this case means that the left subtree is giving a non-null value and the right subtree is giving a null value. So whatever the subtree is which is giving a null value, we will return that. So in this case we have written L, and in the else case we have written R, which means right. So in this case it means that the right subtree is giving a non-null value. Okay, so this is the basic code for this. Let's try to submit it. So the problem is solved successfully. Thanks for watching.